The United Kingdom's Ministry of Defense latest intelligence update on Ukraine, July 6, 2023. The ongoing counteroffensive by Ukraine has put significant pressure on military formations drawn from across Russia. The 58th Combined Arms Army, which typically secures Russia's volatile Caucasus region, is defending heavily fortified positions in Zaporizhzhia Oblast. The 5th Combined Arms Army and Naval Infantry, usually stationed 7,000 kilometers away as a counterbalance to Chinese power, is being held at the front around Velyka Novosilka. Airborne regiments stationed in western Russia, who serve as an elite rapid reaction force in case of tensions with NATO, is what the defense is primarily composed of in the Bakhmut region. Russia's willingness to accept risks across Eurasia underscores how the war has disrupted its established national strategy. The Air Force Command of the Ukrainian Armed Forces update. On the night of July 6, 2023, Russia launched missiles at Lviv Oblast from the Black Sea. Caliber cruise missiles were fired from both surface carriers and submarines. Several groups of rockets were detected, initially heading north and then abruptly changing course to the west, utilizing the region's topography and the Dnieper riverbed. Despite the combat operations, anti-aircraft missile units and Ukrainian Air Force aircraft successfully neutralized 7 out of the 10 caliber cruise missiles. Unfortunately, 3 missiles struck civilian targets in the city of Lviv. Today's assessment of the Russian offensive campaign by the Institute for the Study of War. Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko stated on July 6 that Wagner Group financier Yevgeny Prigozhin and Wagner forces are currently not present in Belarus. This suggests that Prigozhin may be failing to fulfill the agreement mediated by Lukashenko between Prigozhin and Russian President Vladimir Putin after Wagner's armed rebellion on June 24. The details of the agreement remain undisclosed, but it appears that Wagner is not holding up their end of the deal. Lukashenko mentioned that Wagner forces are currently in their permanent camps, either in Russia or Ukraine, following the battle for Bakhmut. He denied reports of Belarus constructing new training camps for Wagner forces and offered several former Soviet military camps for their use. However, Lukashenko indicated that Wagner has a different deployment vision, which he did not elaborate on. Lukashenko emphasized that the agreement has not been terminated, and the question of Wagner forces transfer and setup is currently undecided. Today's key takeaways by the Institute for the Study of War. The whereabouts of Yevgeny Prigozhin remain unconfirmed, with Russian sources suggesting he is in Russia. However, the Institute for the Study of War cannot verify this information at present. Lukashenko appears to distance himself from the mediated deal while emphasizing his ability to mediate between Putin and a previously loyal lieutenant, thereby highlighting Putin's vulnerability. Prigozhin's unrestricted operations in Russia indicate that he likely enjoys some form of security guarantees, or that the Kremlin prioritizes tarnishing his reputation rather than physically or legally targeting him. Certain Russian ultranationalists have criticized Russian state propaganda's attempt to vilify Prigozhin, suggesting that the Kremlin's bid to alienate the ultranationalist community from him has not succeeded. Ukrainian forces carried out counteroffensive operations in multiple sectors of the front on July 6, gradually degrading Russian manpower and logistics assets. Ukrainian and Russian officials largely toned down their rhetoric concerning the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant on July 6, indicating a de-escalation of tensions. Russian political actors continue their efforts to court or control Russian military bloggers, recognizing the influential role of the military blogger community. Russian opposition media outlet Vertska reported a systematic campaign of religious persecution by Russian forces and occupation authorities in occupied Ukraine. Russian military bloggers raised concerns about the limitations and potential ineffectiveness of Russian defensive operations in southern Ukraine, contrasting with previous portrayals by Russian sources. Ground attacks were conducted by both Russian and Ukrainian forces along the Svatov-Kreminna line, with visual evidence confirming Ukrainian advances southwest of Bakhmut as of July 6. Russian forces also continued ground attacks in the Bakhmut and Avdiivka Donetsk city areas. Ukrainian forces conducted counteroffensive operations along the administrative border between Zaporizhzhia and Donetsk Oblasts, as well as in western Zaporizhzhia Oblast. Russian officials persist in their efforts to establish territorial defense units in Russian border oblasts, while occupation authorities forcefully assimilate Ukrainian legal and cultural traditions into the Russian system in occupied territories. Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko claimed on July 6 that Russia plans to transfer all planned tactical nuclear weapons to Belarus by the end of 2023, potentially even earlier.